From the moment the first steam locomotive puffed its way onto the iron rails of the early 19th century, engineers dreamed of a machine that could pull heavier loads faster and more reliably than any horse team. The quest for speed and efficiency culminated in a rainy October day in 1829, when a sleek black engine named Rocket thundered onto the Rainhill Trials track and changed the face of transport forever. Built by Robert Stephenson and his father George at their works in Newcastle upon Tyne, Rocket incorporated a series of innovations that together produced a performance no rival could match. Its multitube boiler, designed to increase heating surface, allowed steam to be generated quickly and steadily. The blast pipe, which directed exhaust steam up the chimney to create a draft, improved firebox efficiency and gave the locomotive its distinctive roar. Together these features gave Rocket a boiler pressure of about 50 pounds per square inch, a figure that was high for the time but still within the limits of contemporary ironwork. The locomotive's wheels were arranged in a 0-2-2 configuration, with a pair of large driving wheels at the rear and a smaller pair of carrying wheels ahead, a layout that reduced weight on the rails while providing strong adhesion. Rocket's total weight, including tender, was roughly 4.2 tons, making it light enough to be hauled by the modest rails of the Liverpool and Manchester Railway yet sturdy enough to sustain high speeds. When the trials began on the 6th of October, Rocket faced competitors such as Sans Pareil and Novelty, each hoping to win the £500 prize offered by the railway company for the best locomotive. Over the next 8 days, Rocket completed a series of runs that demonstrated its superiority. On the 13th of October it hauled a load of 13 tons at an average speed of 12 miles per hour, a figure that impressed the judges with its combination of power and smoothness. The following day, Rocket reached a top speed of 29 miles per hour while pulling a lighter load, a velocity that had never been achieved by a steam locomotive in public trial. Its fuel consumption was also remarkable. The engine used about 20 pounds of coal per mile, a rate far lower than that of its rivals. By the 14th of October, when the final results were announced, Rocket had secured the prize and the admiration of engineers across Britain. The victory was more than a triumph of craftsmanship, it signaled a shift in how society viewed movement. Railways, once seen as curiosities for short hauls, now promised to connect cities, factories, and ports with unprecedented regularity. In the years that followed, the Liverpool and Manchester Railway opened to the public on the 15th of September 1830, and Rocket's design principles were copied by locomotive builders from Birmingham to Boston. Engineers adopted the multitube boiler and blast pipe as standard features, leading to a rapid increase in boiler pressure and speed across the growing rail network. Within a decade, average speeds on main lines rose from 10 to 25 miles per hour, and freight capacities doubled as locomotives grew heavier and more powerful. The social impact was immediate and profound. Travel time between Liverpool and Manchester fell from over 4 hours by stagecoach to under 2 hours by train, making day trips feasible for workers and merchants alike. The railway spurred urban growth. Towns along the line, such as Warrington and Newton-le-Willows, saw their population swell as commuters chose to live farther from their workplaces. Industries benefited from cheaper, faster transport of raw materials like coal and cotton, while finished goods could reach distant markets in days rather than weeks. The Rocket's success also encouraged investment in railway infrastructure, prompting Parliament to authorise dozens of new lines in the 1830s and 1840s, a period historians later dubbed the Railway Mania. Yet the legacy of Rocket extends beyond statistics and economic figures. Its sleek black silhouette, punctuated by the bright brass of its dome and the polished steel of its wheels, became an icon of the industrial age, appearing in paintings, lithographs, and later photographs that celebrated human ingenuity. Engineers who worked on Rocket, such as Joseph Locke and John Dixon, went on to design other famous locomotives, carrying forward the lessons learned at Rainhill. Even today, replicas of Rocket run on heritage railways, reminding modern audiences of the moment when a single engine proved that steam could shrink distances and bind a nation together. After the Rainhill triumph, Rocket was withdrawn from active service and placed on display at the Science Museum in London, where it remains a centerpiece of the collection devoted to the dawn of the railway age. Its preservation allowed generations of engineers and the public to study the exact dimensions of its boiler, the arrangement of its tubes, and the craftsmanship of its iron frames, details that informed the design of later locomotives such as the Planet and the Pattern T. In the 1830s, the Liverpool and Manchester Railway extended its line to Manchester Victoria, allowing through services to the growing industrial towns of Oldham and Rochdale, and Rocket's sister engines, built to the same specification, began regular passenger runs. By 1840, the railway network in Britain exceeded 15,000 miles of track, a figure that would have been unimaginable without the proven reliability demonstrated by Rocket and its contemporaries. The success of the Liverpool and Manchester line inspired similar projects worldwide. In the United States, the Mohawk and Hudson Railroad opened in 1831 with a locomotive named the DeWitt Clinton, which borrowed heavily from the Rocket's multitube boiler concept. In Europe, Belgium's state-funded railway, inaugurated in 1835, adopted Stephenson's gauge of 4 feet 8.5 inches, a standard that eventually spread across the continent and became known as the international gauge. The gauge choice proved crucial for interoperability, allowing locomotives built in one country to run on tracks in another without the need for costly transshipment of goods. Rocket's influence extended beyond hardware. The organizational model of the Liverpool and Manchester Railway, with its centralized timetable, standardized signaling, and dedicated maintenance depots, became a template for later railway companies. Financial investors, encouraged by the reliable dividends paid by the early lines, poured capital into railway ventures, leading to a boom that saw over 40,000 miles of track laid in Britain by 1850. The railway boom also stimulated ancillary industries. Iron foundries increased output to supply rails and locomotives, coal mines expanded production to feed the engines, and engineering firms emerged to design bridges, tunnels, and stations. Cities such as Birmingham, Leeds, and Glasgow grew rapidly as their access to raw materials and markets improved, shifting the balance of economic power from agrarian regions to industrial centers. The social fabric changed as well. Workers could now live farther from factories, leading to the rise of suburban commuting, while leisure travel became accessible to a broader segment of the population. Even as newer, more powerful locomotives superseded Rocket on the main lines, its legacy endured in the collective memory of the nation, symbolizing the ingenuity that turned a modest track into a conduit of progress. Today, a fully operational replica of Rocket, built in 1979 for the 150th anniversary of the Rainhill Trials, runs on the Heritage Railway at Shildon, delighting visitors with its authentic chuff and the sight of its polished brass catching the sunlight. The replica's boiler operates at a pressure of about 50 pounds per square inch, echoing the original specifications, and its multitube design still produces the efficient steam flow that made the historic engine a breakthrough. Its enduring presence continues to inspire engineers and historians alike, reminding us that a single invention can alter the course of civilization. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe for more amazing discoveries.